don't usually watch videos that people share via links. I would say maybe 10% of the time I will watch. But I did watch this video that TheSilent Hunter shared by Keotting about magic, about hiding magic. And I wanted to expand on that idea a little bit. And also I would like to get some feedback from everybody on what you feel about that particular subject. He had an interesting definition of magic that I'd never heard. And it went something like, magic is you, the magician, being able to see change in the external brought about by your own will. That's a very interesting definition of magic. I know when I was younger, and even still to a certain extent right now, when you hear magic, when I hear magic, it automatically gets associated with fiction books, or completely made up stories. And that particular definition of magic, it doesn't even make any mention of how exactly these changes are brought about on the external world which you observe. So by that definition, if I say right now, I'm in my car, I'm heading toward home, if I say in the midst of it, I'd like to drive home, and then I do eventually arrive home, by that definition, I just performed magic, right? Is that magic? Is saying I would like to go home and then doing whatever you need to get home, and then once you're home, say, oh, I did it. I exerted some willpower and brought about a desire. Can you call that magic if you simply got in your vehicle and drove home? Because the notion that a lot of us have, like I said earlier, there is some sort of notion that magic is a sort of mystery that can't be comprehended. So when you would try to compare what seems like a mundane way of getting home, which is getting inside of your vehicle and driving home, with what could be a magical way of getting home, your mind immediately goes to, well, I'll hop on a broom, I'll do the witch thing, right? I'll hop on my broom and fly home. So our minds automatically associate impossible things when we think about magic. And that's a problem, because when we think that something's impossible, we automatically make it impossible. I think it was a Henry Ford quote, right? He said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So if you put that which is magical into the thought realm of something which can't be done, or something which can't possibly be explained once it is done, you remove all possibility of it even happening. magic? What exactly is magic? Is it as simple as you, the individual being, exerting willpower and manifesting demonstrable, recordable change in the external? Is that really what magic is? Is it as simple as that? I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I'm just posing the question. So thank you, Silent Hunter, for sharing that link. And EA Keotting. I like the video that I watched. I'll share the link for that video also in the suggestion, not the suggestion, in the, what's it called? The little thing down below. Text box, whatever it is. I'll share the link for that video so you can check him out. And also, it's interesting seeing this person for the first time. I've never seen or heard of him before I clicked on the video today. It's interesting that he says, as a contextual sort of foundation for his own magic, he's saying he meditated in an ashram, right? That's there are some things up in there that the sort of standard mind would not necessarily associate. Like, you would not necessarily associate magic being defined as achieving demonstrable change in the external world, and it being that simple. And you would not also likely normally associate meditation at ashrams with magic. But again, you have to see how, if you're examining these concepts as they flow through your mind, you have to see that they are changing as you move along, because depending on what definition of magic you're using, the whole setup is different, right? So like, if you're comparing magic, which is sort of seemingly mundane, if you're comparing that with meditation, it's completely different than if you're comparing magic, which is winsome, fanciful, seemingly impossible, unlikely, improbable, witchy, spell casting, bubbling cauldrons, all of these normal associations. If you put that next to the idea of meditating in an ashram, it's an entirely different mental picture than if you put the other one, the mundane version. It's very fascinating. It's fascinating to examine words and how they make us feel when we are using them, because it's changing and flowing like a river, and it's always doing that, and we kind of forget about that. If I say I have a cat named Zizi, and then I wait 10 seconds, and then I say I have a cat named Zizi, the mind will say he said the same thing, but I didn't say the same thing. Like, the second time I said I have a cat named Zizi was so different than the first time, and the contextual surroundings of that is so different. The words are just acting as doorways into internal universes. There are full-on universes attached with each and every single word that we utter. That's what magic actually is. It's this potentiality, this simmering potentiality that sits inside of the language as we express it, because it's not just the words we're saying, it's the whole entire universe, interverse, multiverse. It's the whole thing is literally like it's being enacted through your own discussion of it. That's all that it is anyway. It's never anything more than that. It's something that it is outside of concepts always. It's always that. The nameless aspect of existence is always what it is, and it's always beyond concepts. But the one that you can attempt to put words on is flowing and changing infinitely as you observe it, if you can remember that everything is magic. If you hold on to the mundane part of it and you say, well, it's not magic, it's just a bunch of horse shit, or it's a bunch of nonsense, or I wish everyone would stop complaining about COVID, or I hate masks, or whatever you do with it, if you just look a little bit deeper below the conceptual overlay, then, you know, you just get hit by the thing. It's infinite. It's impossible to actually get bored if you pull out of the mundane mind model of it just for 2 seconds. It's just impossible. But being in the mundane aspect is what keeps us safe. And we like being safe, but also we have to explore at some point. You can combine them also. You don't have to just be in the infinite, and you don't have to just be in the mundane. You can make a dance between the two of them. Okay, that's enough. Let me know what you think about Magick. Let me know what you think about the mundane. And let me know what you think about EA coding. Alright, thanks again, Silent Hunter, for spawning this talk. I hope everyone's doing well. Take care. Be magical.